Who am I? Who am I as a teaching technique? Which was clearly performed. Of course, he was the first person to demonstrate the activity, and later he gave the opportunity to one of the students, and that student also performed it very, very well. One thing I want to say about this lesson was that the teacher really mastered his area. He really mastered his area, and that is why he almost dominated the entire lesson.
Of course.
I don't know whether you were so observant.
That's it.
The teacher was so enthusiastic, he enjoyed the lesson himself and was almost dominated the whole lesson. And then we have seen the knowledge that he was trying to exhibit on the board, and then students were also very interested to watch him, of course. Yeah. Anyway, most of 90% of the explanation was done by the teacher. Actually, he knows his area very, very well.
Yeah.
Besides, there are some problems maybe that you've observed, but before I try to preempt on those ones, let me allow you to come. Yes. The group, you have to be very attentive.
The voice is good, but sometimes he always make people stop.
Very good. The audibility.
Yes.
You have to be very careful next time. You know, people like Fatimata Fadera, they get scared easily to sound. And then I can see that, my emotions were totally defeated when you sound. Everyone will just be scared. Yes, even that guy who sat there who was making the observation was also scared at the time. I felt so astonished sometimes. I thought there's something very crazy going on.
And the other thing, the lesson is good and is performed well. But the one thing is fast. When he was speaking, he was fast. Even grade 6 child, when you are giving them work or you are explaining them, if you come fastly, they will not understand.
Yes.
So let him.
Did we agree with Joma's point? The teacher was very, very fast. And that is why at the end of the lesson, you can see so many questions were hitting him. I know it was just because of time, but if not, the lesson could have gone even more than 1 hour. Because the speed that he was taking was uncontrollable. Yes.
So let him be careful for this.
Yes, start.
It was a nice lesson.
Agreed.
Just that I know it's his natural voice, but at least he should try to make it a bit sharper than he does. He talks from which is very, very.
Okay. And that affects even his pronunciation. Am I right?
Yeah.
It affects his pronunciation. Though it's nature, but we'll also advise him to improve next time. Yes. Okay, Mo.
When he asked me a question and I said, teacher, I don't know. He don't bother himself to me to know the question. He just continue.
You see, the question was raised by Mo. Mo told you she did not know it.
Somebody answered the question.
Anyway, I remember the question was what was the question? I know, like the arrow was thrown, and then he asked you, what are the 2 words that are found on these arrows, one up and another one at the bottom? So you told him you did not know, but he asked another student, and that student gave the right answer. That is why he was so much in haste, he even tried like this. Yes, and Bob, you may answer. You may answer. Yes.
It was a nice lesson.
Yes.
The most important part is keywords are very important.
What?
Keywords.
Especially
in a lesson like this.
Yes.
Professional word because children found it very difficult.
Yes.
Children found it difficult to understand, to pronounce words like photosynthesis, carbon dioxide, oxygen. So it was brilliant for him to. But for me, the process of photosynthesis, to me, was not clearly outlined. Because he was putting more emphasis, to the equations, the word equation, chemical equation. When the process itself, to me, was not briefly explained. Because for me, I don't hear anything like, because when you talk about photosynthesis, plant roots absorb something from the ground, which is water and mineral salt, and which was never mentioned. And that part of it is very important. The process to me, I don't believe. I'm just saying my own view. I'm not trying to criticize. Because I see people
in fact, I will come to that. The congestion of the lesson. I'll talk about that. I know because what the teacher planned, it seems he delivered more than planned. The lesson was okay. Teacher has to follow.
I would also like to recommend for him to use the local languages. Hence, it is the first time for the introduction of the lesson. Like terms like photosynthesis and others, it should be explained to them to better understand. Even though being in grade 6, they need to understand some of these terms in their local languages for better understanding and explanation.
Okay.
Because you may find it, somewhere difficult or get stuck when they go far into the lesson. Yes. If they are not well comprehend.
Exactly. But generally, the local language will not dominate.
Yes.
Just for explanation purposes.
For explanation purposes, yes. But remember, it's a very high class. It's a grade 6 class. But nonetheless, we can always step down to their local language, so that they can get the ideas clear. Yes. You wanted to react?
What he said, I quite agree with him. To that, I have not mentioned the rules, the absorption of water and water. But that one, specifically shifted to the part of plant that we are going to have it next lesson.
That
That is connected. Yes. That's what I mentioned. That's why I leave that up to. But that means I'm going to have another 2 different lessons.
But you agreed with him that photosynthesis
It was clearly explained.
No, listen here. I've said it oftentimes. I've said it over and over. The definition of photosynthesis and with the help of
Whereby he mentioned photo means light and synthesis means manufacture.
Yes.
So, and that it was clearly meant.
That is not the process. That is just the meaning of photosynthesis.
Yes.
Photosynthesis and the process are
yes.
Photosynthesis is a word.
It's a word.
When I was explaining the sunlight, not only the process, how it
It is
takes
not
place.
only sunlight.
Okay.
You need
Okay, let us not look at it in depth anyway. We still have so many problems because this lesson was a bit wide and it's a very high level lesson. So we are not going to compromise with it. Manage.
Okay. Pertaining to what he is saying,
Yes.
Generally, our purpose here, our intended purpose is not to criticize.
Yes.
Each and everyone is here to learn something at the end of the day.
Yes.
So that when we go back to our different schools, we are able to deliver as we are expected. So definitely, here, what we demand the presenter is time to present here because he has already drawn the diagram and do the certain leveling under the roots where the plants absorb minerals. But maybe due to his explanation, he forget to explain those materials that are found there. But nevertheless, we have to accept the criticism. It doesn't mean that it's we don't understand or we don't want to do it. But here too is a point of correction. So we also accept it like that. We don't do anything. Okay. Bravo.
Can I say a bit what I have? Or I still give it a chance? Kanadi Malo, he will come. Aha. And that is why I can even remember one of the students asked, teacher, how do we spell chlorophyll? Because of that, the word card was not well spelled according to them. Chlorophyll. They were able to observe that. Yeah, but who asked the question? The question came from it was Kanadi. By detecting it from the word card, he decided these students are very intelligent. I will find this type of students in your classes. But then this problem was committed yesterday. It shouldn't be repeated. Germany was asked a question, he didn't give it to the floor to handle it. He answered it himself. So you shouldn't repeat that mistake. When he asked you, teacher, how do you spell chlorophyll? Give it to the floor.
That was a mistake.
Yes, I thought it will not be repeated. That didn't happen.
But if the first question was thrown to the floor.
Yeah, maybe it's the pressure. Good.
Okay. The time is going.
Okay. Haruna in summary.
Okay, I like the one part of
the lesson.
This lesson was the teacher was prepared.
Bangura.
He studied prior to the lesson.
Yes.
And he has the content and knowledge.
Yes.
So unfortunately, he was misled along the way.
Okay.
By he was over ambitious.
Yes.
All that he learned, he wanted to use it in one lesson. This disturbed him. And then one important thing is like when you are teaching, like he said, I'm coming back to Toure's point. It is very important. The lessons are arranged in order. You come then, if you are talking about parts of plant, then you have to talk about the parts of plant before functions.
Exactly.
That should be the chronological organization.
Yes.
And the other important thing is like the organization of his work on the board. Let's look at the board. The work is mixed up. You cannot just like the keywords must be written neatly, and the way you define things should be clear. Like you should not just jump and write anywhere. Yes, and it's all that you guys have to be very clear.
Blackboard management.
The blackboard management.
Exactly.
And the other important thing, like who am I?
Yes.
I think we use this teaching technique some time back, and we are told it can be used maybe for. Like if you want to talk about a human being, like you want to President Jammeh, but not part of plans or something like, because we use, I think this was a comment from you. And the other thing
it's not limited to the names of important people. You can even use animals, you can use plants as well. Yes. Yeah. One was hen and the other one was plant. That was appropriate.
Yes, and this is it. But
Generally.
We had the content knowledge. That's
Yeah, the teaching aids were also very appropriate. I think they have the best diagram so far, which I observed. I don't know, it seems the group have an artist there.
Objective of the lesson.
Yes.
The lesson content and the objective of the lesson.
No. This one is not paragraph. Where I wrote. This one is not paragraph. Where I wrote. Phonetic is right. Okay, just stop. Phonetic. That's why you stop.
You don't know what I wanted to say.
Okay, sorry.
You know where I am.
Okay, now, did you notice anything about Ture? From your observation, did you notice anything about the chemical symbols? I thought one of you will talk about the chemical symbols. He talked about the chemical symbol of carbon dioxide. We've all seen it. He wrote it on the board, and then the chemical symbol of oxygen was also written on the board. But to me, was it written? In the way that it should be written. Like CO2, for instance. That's why somebody wanted to write the board. I said, no, baby, there is something very important. Look at this CO2. Is this the chemical symbol for carbon dioxide? No, this is an O, and this O should be capitalized.
capitalized.
Next time, please. CO2. These students that you are teaching, whatever you teach them, that is what they will go with, and they will end up agreeing up to the university level. Remember, whatever the teacher gives them, to them they hold it like the Quran. It's free from fault or mistakes. So carbon dioxide should always be written with O capitalized, and then these two here should be a subscript, a lower script here. All right. Good. Now, going back to the chemical symbol of water on your word card also has a problem. Who noticed it in the class? Water was written as
is not
HO2. This is the way it was written. Class, whenever someone is presenting, please let us try to be very active and be very attentive to what the lesson is all about. Look at this. Look at this. In all the chemical symbols that I learned in chemistry, I have never come across a compound like this.
No, this one is wrong.
You see, these things are very technical, and remember the video is covering it, and this is going very fast. I don't know how we're going to edit it, unless when we invite Sadi about that. So H2O, please, take note. With O capitalized. Coming back to glucose, I have to correct you because I am here for that. If I am wrong, I need to be corrected. Glucose C6H12O6 was also written like this. It was also written like this. Prove me right or wrong. It was only the 6 that was better written. But all the rest were on the same line. It shouldn't be like this, please. C6H12. This has nothing to do with this course, please. These are just some corrections that you need to take note. Yes. Yes. And then you can also further simplify the word starch to them. Like some of them were confused somewhere when you talk about manufacture, but you were able to make it very simple to them by saying producing. Am I right? Somebody even go further to say making. And I think that was Sadio. Am I right? Sadio? Yes. So starch can be called what? Glucose or what? Or sugar. Yes. starch. Just as Malo said, like if you cannot go to the this thing, local language, simplify it. This is simple sugar. Give it to them as sugar.
And Mr. Youth.
And then you are free from trouble and free from so many cases.
Mr. Youth.
Yes.
If you cut the whole plant trees, like what you said, you know plants store food on their stem.
Yes.
So when there is no leaf, the plant will be using food in its stem.
Yeah, that's the plants.
But they are storing food.
That's transporting food from the roots to the leaves.
Yeah, but you know when there are no leaves, like the food is stored, is what it is.
To avoid congestion, in your lessons, Mr. Travel, because I'm sure you will do this in your class. Sorry to say that. When you are teaching this type of topic, green plants as producers, in bracket, put photosynthesis. Alright? Just say the meaning of photosynthesis. That very lesson in 30 minutes or 35 minutes, let your learners know what photosynthesis is all about. Okay? Next lesson, you have to demarcate it properly. Next lesson, talk about the word equation of photosynthesis. Word equation of photosynthesis. So that when that word equation of photosynthesis is written clearly, they can see all the all the substances that are involved in that equation, like starting from carbon dioxide up to oxygen there, which is given as a byproduct. Show them what is the byproduct and show them what is the reactants. You understand? And then show them the essence of that light and the essence of that chlorophyll and the significance of putting that arrow there. For any word equation of photosynthesis in the absence of an arrow is wrong. This disqualifies the whole equation. That is a lesson of its own. In your third lesson now comes to the most critical part of it. That those word equations now can be changed to their chemical equation. So that carbon dioxide that you see plus water, sunlight, chlorophyll, giving us glucose and oxygen, that carbon dioxide can be changed as CO2. Bring the additional sign, water the symbol H2O, light chlorophyll, C6H12O6, and O2. And then light will be very simple. The knowledge will be simplified and they will understand it, digest it, and take it forever. The lesson should work like this. So this very good. This is where the problem was. I'm also trying to learn something from you. Yes. No. Your plan was good, but the teacher was very, very enthusiastic in the lesson. Perhaps maybe you did not even go further to reach there. And before he comes to on stage, I called on man. I said, talk to him. I know his chemistry is very strong, but let him try to bring us to our level. Man did not tell you, but I told man. I called on man. I said, talk to your presenter. Let him come to our level because his chemistry is very strong. You can see there was a very powerful word he wrote to us here. I'm subjected to go and find out about the meaning of oxygen. I need to read it adequately because it's very interesting to me when you get something. Give him a round of applause. Huh? I'm sure at your UTG you will study chemistry. Chemistry is your name. Right. Where are you science today?
Yes, I was science.
This is her name?